Do you have, where you are in your little pocket of New South Wales, of course you get your news from the ABC, but do you have a regional newspaper or a regional news website, something that is local, that is just yours, that you trust to get your local news? We're going to talk to someone who's just, in fact, there's a group of people in Glen Innes who decided to launch their own newspaper. We're going to talk to them, but I would love to hear from you. Shout it out. It's a community newspaper, community news website, and as long as it's not secretly owned by some big conglomerate, which is, that's fine. That happens. But I want you to shout out your local community newspaper. Maybe it's just a newsletter. Maybe it's just an email. Maybe it's you're on a mailing list. 1300 973 300, or you can SMS 0467 922 684. Shout out that place that you get the news from that you trust, and something cool about having a local voice for you that is, community run, not for profit, whatever it is. I want to hear from you. We're going to go to all of that after 3 o'clock right now on ABC Radio. It's time for the news. Hello there, Lindsay McDougall with you across New South Wales. Lovely to have you here. Jess's audience statewide, Jennifer's audience there for ABC Newcastle as well. I've got you today. Don't worry, I'll keep you very safe. But I want you to help me out. Where do you get, apart from the ABC, where do you get your news from? Where do you get your local news from? We try and go as close to where you are all over New South Wales as possible. But it's a big place. And there are local newspapers, local news websites, local newsletters that do it, I'm going to have to say, on a town-by-town basis, probably better than us, because you're right there. The people making the newspaper, making the website are right there in town. So who are they? Let me know, because, it's been pretty tough for local community newspapers, regional newspapers. Advertising these days, advertising dollars is all going to online. It's all going to websites and to social media. So it's basically getting paid to your Mark Zuckerbergs and your Elon Musks rather than to the people who make the news themselves. So, I think it was September last year where ACM, Australian Community Media, announced 8 regional newspapers would be discontinued due to budget cuts. So this is places like Milton Ulladulla, the Times there, the Dungog Chronicle, the Glen Innes Examiner, maybe some more as well. Has one near you gone belly up as well? Because sometimes when that happens, it can be the chance for something new to grow. So we're going to take you to Glen Innes real soon and find out about a group of people there, community journalists, who have launched the Glen Innes News. Have you checked out the Glen Innes News? I'd love to know about that. And where do you get your information from? Where do you get your news?
There's rumour of a gold strike to the south of Ballarat, and someone stole some cattle at the back of Kylie's flat.
Really?
And there's been a fight in Dinny Ryan's bar at Ararat.
All right, you hear that, Kel?
Heard it on the Bush Telegraph.
Yes, thank you very much to Tim, who suggested this. I'm guessing you were suggesting some John Williamson when you were texting in a few things, including heard it through the grapevine. Yeah, great. Maybe that's a great way to get your news. And the Bush Telegraph. What about... Thank you very much to... it's Josh the Bricky. Hey, mates. I'll get my local news and all the gossip from the local pub, the George in Picton. Thank you, Josh. That's a great... See, I feel like as much faith as you can have in that person sitting at the bar that you always, listen to, give out all the news and the gossip, I'm going to suggest that maybe their editorial standards aren't at exactly the same point that your local community newspapers are. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe I'm wrong, Josh. I don't know. Thank you to Rebecca saying in Gunnedah we are lucky to have the Gunnedah Times, locally owned and operated. Rebecca, thank you. I'd love to know how that is going, how the Gunnedah Times is going. And Ella says my local community paper is called The Triangle. Where do you live, Ella? Where is The Triangle telling me the news of? I'd love to know. Send me another text, 0467 922 684 2684. Ella says, hi, Bega, Cobargo and Bermagui are the 3 district points of the Triangle. I should know that. That's my area. Thank you for that. I'm going to have to check out the Triangle.
On ABC Radio New South Wales, this is Lindsay McDougall.
Yes, I am across New South Wales today and hearing about your local newspapers, your local news websites, newsletters. As I said, there's been a few going the way of the dodo in the last years due to budget cuts and the way that advertising is. But when locals from Glen Innes heard that the Examiner was going down, they decided to take matters into their own hands. And 4 months since its launch, it's doing incredibly well. David Lewis, one of the community journalists behind the paper, joins me. Hello, David.
G'day, Lindsay. First of all, sorry, I need to interrupt. I'm so glad that Ella texted in and told us about the triangle because I was scared that it was somewhere in Bermuda.
Yeah, I feel like if you can get me a text, if you can text me from Bermuda, then I think we've solved the riddle of the Bermuda Triangle. We'll just get someone to pick up Ella in a boat and we'll solve the whole thing. True. Yeah, well, this is what I love about community newspapers. They are so very specific. Now, you're clearly very passionate about this sort of stuff. Where does that come from? Because I'm pretty sure you're historically a bit of a radio guy.
Well, I mean, you know, you would have heard the same joke, I'm sure. Not that I'm suggesting anything now, but we've all been told everyone in radio's got a face for it, and I certainly qualify. So, I started out when I was 13 at a local radio station, and have generally been hanging around radio stations ever since. But working in radio, as you would probably be able to attest, you're constantly abreast of what's going on and keeping up to date, and there's all sorts of sources for that information. One of the main ones being the local newspaper, and it just so happens that locally we stopped having one for a little while there.
And so, I mean, this is happening in lots of places, specifically, particularly regional areas. And was that something like, what were you hearing when the Glen Innes Examiner closed down? Was that something that everyone knew was going to happen?
Look, it came about very suddenly, actually. Within a few weeks of the announcement, it was gone. I shouldn't say gone. They are still online behind a paywall, though, which is not ideal for everybody. So I think they announced it maybe three editions before they were going to close. I think from memory there were only 2 editions off reaching their 150th year anniversary, which was really sad. But no, everyone became aware of it very quickly, and it's kind of ironic that it was all you heard around town was that there was you weren't going to hear anything anymore.
But that was also part of the ACM under the ACM umbrella. You've launched something that is very local. How do you do it? How do you launch? I'm guessing starting a newspaper is not an easy thing. Well, how do you set it up?
Look, as Nike would say, just do it. Just do it. I guess we were lucky, or I was lucky in that I've got a bit of experience as a web designer, so that was I was able to use my skills to get us online. But that's just part of the puzzle. We had to get together a team of people who were just as passionate and just as interested in what was going on, and be able to feed the information and the stories back to the website, which started in November, and then we started in print in January, and we've been incredibly successful with that. We've got a great team of about 15 people, all volunteers, and they're constantly people who live here out and about in the community, and they're able to then help us as a group tell everyone else in the community what's happening or what's just happened.
And it is, I mean, we get a lot of press releases here at the ABC, and you see things where people are offering you, essentially an interview, sometimes even pre-recorded interviews that you can, in inverted commas, just play, and of course very gushing about whatever product they're selling. We, of course, don't run them. But as a news website and newspaper, is there, I guess, a temptation to do that kind of copy-paste just to fill the pages of a newspaper? I know this could be a quick way to end up on Media Watch.
This is true. No, look, the temptation's never been there because we've never felt the need. Now Glen Innes is, in comparison to many towns in Australia, is a pretty small place. You look at the local government area, we've got a population of roughly 10,000, give or take. That's 10,000 people, and 10,000 people have 10,000 stories. There is always something going on. There's always something to tell people about,
including a cane toad. A couple of weeks
cane
ago.
toad, well, mate, that was big news.
It is that far south, yes, and west.
Yes, no, very much so. So yes, we've been keeping an eye out for the cane toads. Unfortunately, for some of the locals anyway, I'm originally a Queenslander, so I get called that occasionally as well.
Especially at certain points of the NRL season, I'm guessing.
Something like that, yeah.
Speaking of David Lewis from the Glen Innes News, thank you for the people texting in, including Paul saying free local online paper called The Spark. I'm not sure where you are, Paul. Dubbo Photo News rocks, says Frank, the Dubbo Photo News. And also the South Coast Register, of course, in Nowra, says Paul. Oh, that's Paul, who also says that there's a spark in the that sort of place as well. This is... running as a volunteer kind of organisation, I imagine it's kind of like, can you go deep? Can you do investigative journalism? Can you do all the things, you follow up stories on a volunteer staff kind of system?
Look, we can. There's no denying that it's a challenge, but we just have to be careful and be mindful of how we allocate, I guess, resources, and our resources include our people. At the moment we've been working on a story, part of which went online today, about our local council, who have been having a few meetings and discussing what's possibly going to be a fairly significant special rate variation. So we're going to see higher rates bills. So, but there's a lot of discussion around and behind that. So we're across that story, and we've got another 2 or 3 things in relation to that coming out in the next week or two. So yeah, we certainly can follow things through. We just need to make sure that we allocate it to the person who's able to do that, and of course mindful of not overloading our people, because as volunteers, we've all got families and lives, and we've got to make a living somehow. So time is valuable, but it's all about how you manage that time, I suppose.
And it's been a few months. You say it's going very well. Both you've gone from the website, you've gone to a printed each fortnightly printed version as well. So going the opposite way to other newspapers. Do you think what's the plan? Do you think maybe it'll become something where you can actually pay yourselves a little bit and get it up as a company like that?
Look, the question is I guess the answer to that is, you just asked the question, I'll give you the answer. The answer to that is who knows at this point. Now, at the moment, we're breaking even, and as of the last couple of issues, there's been a very, I emphasise the word very, modest surplus, which is great. And if that continues, we'll be able to reinvest that into what we do with maybe some equipment or additional software or whatever. But certainly, and the opportunity is also there for us into the future to look at some grant funding to have a salary position, perhaps. But
is that coming from state or federal governments?
Look, there's a whole heap of sources. There is some grant funding available for some well-established, I guess, publications. We don't qualify because we haven't been around long enough, but certainly that's something we could look at in the future. That's on a federal level. And there's various other, I guess you'd call them pots of money from the state, that we'll keep an eye on it. And if the opportunity arises, we'll grab it with both hands.
Wow. Well, best of luck. The Glen Innes News. Let me know if you've picked up a copy. Let me know if you are. Do you have subscribers, I take it?
What was that, sorry?
Do you have subscribers?
Subscribers as in...
people who...
We have email subscribers, but no, everything's totally free. We do gratefully accept donations, and we've been thankful to be in a position where we have accepted donations from our community. But no, if you don't choose to pay anything, or you don't want to, or you can't, that's entirely fine by us.